The last video of the day. Just to give you an update, I'm no longer doing Mob Psycho. It's only because Mob Psycho has too many ups and downs for me. It has too many high moments, low moments, moments of high impact, moments of, just chilling. It's not, as someone reviewing it, going through it, it's boring. Because there's not much you could go into, not much you can draw from it. So we're taking a step back from Mob Psycho. Today we have Bleach episode 9. And Allah Canadian, thank you so much for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's just get into it. We start off with Lieutenant Nanao. She's checking up on Captain Shunsui. Initially, he doesn't answer the door. She's suspicious. She just walks in. Yo, bitch, you don't just walk into the captain's headquarters like that. Come on, where's your respect? She enters and he says, look, we might be away from each other for a while. And this is because he's been made the new captain of Squad 1, replacing Yamamoto, who was killed by U-Hawk a couple episodes ago. So this really speaks to the relationship between the two. We knew Yamato had high respect for him and Itake. We know that he considered Shunsui as the second strongest underneath him. So it does speak to reason why he would be made the new number 1. And so, this is just before the intro. Intro happens, and after that we are back in the Kuririn, where we have Renji, who's in charge of the hot springs, and he's basically ordered his men to drown Ichigo. Okay, not purposefully, but the healing effect is supposed to happen after you are underwater for more than 10 seconds. But Ichigo, because he's conscious, he can't do this manually, so he's having a hard time, and he basically nearly drowns. And so Kirijin, he walks up to Ichigo and he punches him, punches Ichigo. And Ichigo, he stands up, he says, what the hell was that for? And Kirijin says, you're healed, because if he wasn't healed, that would have killed you. And when Ichigo looks down, all his cuts, all his bruises, they're gone. He is healed. And Kirijin says, you know what, it's time you moved on. I'm gonna send you to the next place you have to go. And before he does this, Renji gets up. The boy, the goat, Renji. He says, look bro, I'm healed too. Come try me out. And he punches Renji with the same amount of force. But Renji, he tanks it. He's shaking a bit, but he tanks it. Kirijin's like, fair enough. And he sends both of them on their way using that, hammer technique. And so he tells his subordinates, okay, you can take off the protective wear now. And when they do, their bodies are burnt underneath the protective wear. And they explain that the water that they're using is so powerful in cleansing spiritual pressure that coming into contact with on bare skin could actually kill them, could just burn them away. And Kirijin is just so impressed in how Renji and Ichigo were just able to withstand that, and let alone their potential to grow. Especially Ichigo, as he reveals that when he punched Ichigo, as a reflex, Ichigo fractured Kirijin's hand. Just as a reflex, like a reflex swat, like a flies in your face, and automatically you're just like, poof. That's what Ichigo did. So that speaks volumes. Kirijin, he says, I was considered the lightning demon or lightning something of Soul Society, and I haven't lost that speed. So for Ichigo to do that to me, there's some potential in him. No wonder the Soul King is interested in him. The Soul King, the number 1 guy in the spirit world, is interested in Ichigo. There's something in there. we switch over to the underground central assembly hall. Shunsui's been formally inducted as number one, leader, squad number one, and the rest of the Soul Society. And he announces he wants Okiba and Isane as lieutenants. He wants two. First, there's some what's the word looking for? Refusal, but he says, look, I'm number one. You've given me that position. Let me use it. He also announces he wants to teach Kenpachi Zanjitsu, or proper swordsmanship, which everyone's just like, what? Are you crazy? Kenpachi is strong enough as it is. Why would you want to teach him more powerful technique? Yamamoto made him do one lesson, and in that one lesson he was so scared of how far he made it, he vowed never to teach him again. So why would you want to teach him? And Shunsui, he brings up a perfectly valid point. We barely survived the initial invasion. We lost captains. Yamamoto is dead. There wasn't a body to bury. We need stronger captains. So let me just do this. And they silently agree. He also brings up the fact that the one that's going to be teaching him is Captain Unahara, or better known as First Kenpachi. Unahara is a Kenpachi, bro. A Kenpachi. We'll come back to this. I know you're hurting inside. We'll come back to this. We go with Renji and Ichigo. They're about to land in the Gato Den when Kon appears, apparently sneaking on board Ichigo. He grows and they use him as a crash pad. He shouldn't be there in the first place, so what are you doing? And so they're greeted by Kiryu Hikifune. She does that loud greeting, nearly pushes them over the edge, and she cooks and serves them food. Like large amounts of food, like charmy levels of food. You will see why I use charmy from Black Clover in a minute. And so Ichigo, at first he's like, I don't want to dig into this, I don't trust it. But she says, look, I'm not Unahara. I'm not gonna train you through some weird regimen. Eat the food, bro, it's good. I'm gonna go back and make some dessert. And so him and Renji, they start munching. But soon Ichigo, he starts to feel guilty. He says that we're here, we're chilling, we just been through a hot spring, we just ate some good food. But people back home, they're training. They're going through some stuff and we're here taking it easy. Renji, he gets back, he's like, look bro, look. We are doing this to prepare for training, to prepare for what happens next. Don't take this too lightly. And that speaks to the intelligence of Renji. Because remember, Renji is a lieutenant, so he has some type of intelligence in order to get that rank, as well as skill. So being able to deduce that that's what they're doing speaks to why he's a lieutenant. And even Hikifune catches on to this, because she comes out and she's like, yep, this is the truth. Now when she comes out, she looks vastly different. She looks like a good 10 out of 10. She's looking fine like a glass of wine. And she explains that when she's cooking, she uses up all her spiritual pressure. That's why she looks different. And so just before she sends them off to the next area, she explains that what they're doing now is special training, Soul King level training. Each stage will help increase your power. Each member of Squad Zero has done something to aid the Soul Society. I invented temporary souls. So, Kon He's a soul that, you know, can inhabit your body to look after it. She invented temporary souls that gave way to invent people like Kon. And she says the technique is known as Gikon. This is placing a foreign soul or pressure into another body. And she explains that the food they just ate has the similar pressure as temporary souls. So now your Ryatsu, your spiritual pressure, should be increasing. And the next stop, I need to warn you, because the next stop is Huden, which is where Etsu resides. And Etsu was responsible for the creation of Zanpakuto toes. A lot to unpack there. Could you argue that maybe she is responsible for like Mayori, teaching Mayori, because Mayori is like the science division, but then again she mentioned Unohana, so she's probably responsible for him. That's why he's so knowledgeable as well. There's a lot to unpack there. What is this Gikon energy? Because she quotes it as like Soul King level. So is it essence of the Soul King? Is it like the fact that it's just foreign Ryatsu that did it? Because if you go back to when Yu-Hawk explained why Ichigo was able to use Quincy techniques, is because foreign spiritual pressure from Stern Ritter J entered his body. So there's some merit to that. There's some merit. If we go back to the Soul Society now, in the prison, there's the lowest level called Mukan. Mukan is just empty, it's vast, it goes on forever. And this is when Kenpachi Zaraki goes down to meet Unohara to begin their training. And Kenpachi is excited. He doesn't even have his eye patch. He's ready to go. If you remember, the eye patch conceals and I'm going to say hamper the amount of spiritual pressure Kenpachi can release, because Kenpachi likes to go all out. No, he doesn't like to go all out because he likes to fight. He wants to draw it out as long as possible. And so Urohana, she says, look, you know, no, Kenpachi just talking. He's like, yeah, they got us two down here. We were both powerful criminals before we were captain. We were both killing people. And I can't wait to fight you once again. I'm so excited. And Urohana's like, look, you're talking too much, bro. You are chatting way too much was. You think I'm excited to face someone who gave me this scar? So apparently Kenpachi gave her a scar on her chest. We never saw it, because even now her character design is changed from what it was in previous depictions of her. And Kenpachi, she responds, well, you gave me this one on my face, so what are you talking about? And so they both charge and they engage. And then we get this explanation from Shunsui that says that before Unohara was recruited by Yamamoto, she was the most notorious criminal in the Soul Society. She was known as 8,000 Styles Yashiro because she was so adept, so knowledgeable of swordman techniques. She was able to adopt them and use them. And Shunsui, he's upset. He regrets calling it a lesson, because deep down he knows the likelihood is one of them will die in this lesson. One of them will make it out. Even their lieutenants are like sad because they realize they might not come back out again. And so the two are just fighting, sword swinging, but Unohara always has the advantage. Kenpachi will block, Unohara will swipe. Kenpachi will swipe back, Unohara will dodge and swipe back. It's always on Unohara for the advantage. She even makes a comment, yeah, you had the right idea of not coming in with your eye patch, but you're still too weak. Before, she uses sort of like a kunai, to cause Kenpachi to stab himself. And Kenpachi, he's pissed. He's like, how dare you? I've been waiting to fight you so long. I'm a big fan of you. And you use such a cheap trick? However, she makes the point. In our previous fight, I never had to resort to a cheap trick because you never gave me the opportunity to use it. Implying that Kenpachi, between now and the fight before, has gotten weaker, complacent. This echoes what Hawk was saying, that in times of peace, the Shinagamis have grown complacent. They've grown weak because they haven't been fighting all their lives now. And so she disarms Kenpachi, and he's saying that he's disappointed that the first time they fought, he felt fear for the first time. And with a tear in his eye, my man's crying. He's saying that he's gonna die without ever beating her. And Unohana stabs him right through the throat. But then they're clashing again. And even Kenpachi's like, wait a minute. We were just fighting. Like, you just cut my throat. What just happened? But Unohana says nothing. And we find out that she says every time you are near death, you get stronger. So I'm going to keep doing this until you eventually win. And that's where we end the episode. So something that Unohana's doing is bringing Kenpachi back from the brink of death, back in physical form, and just putting him in the fight. Maybe it's like, in Naruto, Itachi had this ability which basically affected time, perception of time, your reality, where it would be in this endless loop, and no matter what you tried, unless you tried to break the cycle, you were stuck in it, and there's no way of you leaving. Maybe it's something similar to that. I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait to find out. 8 out of 10. Good episode. Really liked it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.